And the idiocy just doesn't stop, does it?
Why can't you just be normal?
Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gents. I hope you guys had a great week, as it's now Friday. Weekend time, baby. Time to relax before the work week begins anew. Man, this week has been an absolute shit show, hasn't it?
That's an understatement.
Because one day after the announcement of the closure of Tango Gameworks, Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse, Xbox must have figured they needed more bad press. So, what exactly am I referring to? Well, you see, dear viewer, Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, in his infinite wisdom, decided to hold a meeting to discuss the division's future goals, stating, and I quote, "We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards," according to internal remarks.
You what?
What? Matt, Baby Doll, Honey Pie, did you suffer a severe concussion in the last 48 hours? How can you say this with a straight face one day after you shut down Tango Gameworks, who, just in case you actually do have retrograde amnesia, gave you prestige and awards last year? Within 4 months, the game hit 3 million players with zero marketing before its release, I remind you. And it won a Game Award, a Game Developer's Choice Award, and even a BAFTA, which, in case you aren't aware, is the British Academy Film Awards, which has been around since the late 40s. Do you realize how big a deal it is for a game like Hi-Fi Rush to win a BAFTA? Well, apparently you don't, because what were you thinking with this phrase? All this signals to me is it didn't matter if Hi-Fi Rush was a success. They were going to kill the studio regardless. In fact, if you do a little research, you'll discover that Hi-Fi Rush was not supposed to be a stealth drop. In fact, the game was supposed to be revealed a couple years prior, back at E3 2020. But, as we all know, the show got cancelled, and due to the purchase of Bethesda, the announcement was supposedly delayed.
My life is a lie! My life is a lie! Somebody's gotta get stabbed! Somebody's gotta get stabbed!
But even then, you had almost 3 years to announce it, Bethesda, so what happened?
Looks like you dropped the ball.
My hypothesis is they were looking for a reason to shut Tango down. Evil Within wasn't the RE4 successor they were hoping for, despite the fact that unless your game is Silent Hill or Resident Evil, survival horror games rarely do gangbusters. And even Ghostwire, while it sold okay, it wasn't exactly a powerhouse IP. So, what do? I suspect they figured shadow dropping this game would lead to the game not performing, not really making an impact, thus giving them a reason to shut the studio down to cut costs.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
But that didn't happen. In fact, the precise opposite happened. Everyone played Hi-Fi Rush. Everyone loved Hi-Fi Rush. Multiple people, myself included, considered it a Game of the Year contender. And instead of pulling back on their decision in light of this revelation, they decided to follow through.
Why?
What's even more frustrating is the game represented Xbox's commitment to Japanese exclusives. During an interview with Game Watch, which, just an FYI, is a Japanese games media outlet, he praised the game and told players to expect more AAA titles from Japan, and that they were going to be currently working with Japanese companies to develop new games.
Bullshit.
Yeah, how are you going to focus on your commitment to Japanese games coming to your consoles if you just shut down your only Japanese game studio? The fuck is this logic? And if you think we're done, ooh boy.
You've got a big storm coming.
Because Sarah Bond had an interview with Bloomberg, which produced a very interesting clip, which I will play now.
I think one of the things that was most upsetting both to Xbox gamers and to employees is that, one of the shuttered studios in particular just created a hit game, did really well on Game Pass in terms of engagement, and won a ton of awards. Shouldn't succeeding in that way ensure the future of a studio?
Man, talk about a great question from the interviewer. No dancing around the topic, no trying to trick the interviewee, just a flat out, why doesn't the success guarantee a studio's safety? Oh, man. Now, let's check out Sarah Bond's response to this, shall we? Because it's quite something.
You know, one of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form. And it means that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like, there's no one size fits all to it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
Don't come up in my kitchen with that weak-ass shit.
Wow! Wow! She learned from the best when it comes to the art of word salad. That was just a bunch of nothing! And how are you committing long-term to anything when a studio under your company who made not only a fantastic game, but a potential new franchise, and your response is to can them? How do you think your other studios are feeling looking at the situation? Why did you even do this interview? Now, some people were trying to run defense, saying, oh, higher-ups didn't properly prepare her for this response. Companies always send out a sacrificial lamb to take the heat, and while the second statement is true, there's a major problem with the first, and that being, Sarah Bond is the president of Xbox.
Why? Why?
She should have prepared herself to respond to these types of questions. Not someone above her, not Matt Booty, not Phil Spencer, not Satya Nadella, whatever the fuck his name is. Her. She's the one who should have prepared. Instead, she elected to concoct the most nothing statement that doesn't actually answer a single thing the interviewer asked. Well done, Sarah. Truly, truly a titan of industry you are.
Come on. Come on, baby. I just want out.
Overall, the Xbox leadership is a joke. If PlayStation could turn around from the PS3 $600 pricing fiasco and Nintendo could come back from the Wii U era, there is no reason Xbox couldn't recover from the Xbox One era. But the leadership currently in place either has no idea how to, or is just unwilling to do what's necessary. If I was a developer at id Software, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, or Machine Games, I would be very, very worried. Because if a breakout success like Hi-Fi Rush isn't enough to keep a studio alive, what will? Hellblade is more than likely not going to do better than Hi-Fi Rush. Avowed ain't going to do Elder Scrolls sales. Most people probably aren't even aware it takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe. If Xbox doesn't change how they approach the company fast, their next console may likely be their last. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. As always, to stay up to date on all things crab, you can follow me on Twitter via the link in the description below. And if you're looking for a way to support the channel, you can consider becoming a member. For only 99 cents a month, you get access to the community Discord, the Crab Shack. Once you're in for good, as well as emotes to harass me with live on streams. And with all that out of the way, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video.